I'm Nicole with Healthcare Policy and Financing. I'm here introducing La Plata County, who is a model site with Colorado Eligibility Process Improvement Collaborative, also known as CPIC.
Hello, I'm Marcia France. I am a La Plata County Resource Advisor, which is an eligibility technician.
Hi, I'm Teresa Campbell, and I do the system coordinating and help with the technical support here in La Plata County.
And I'm Esther Lobato. I'm an income maintenance resource advisor working with eligibility for the adult programs.
So we are here to help talk to whoever wants to become a potential model site. We were a model site probably about 5 years ago. Actually, about 7 years ago is when we started our whole process through the CPIC process at the state. And then the second time around the CPIC process started, we all participated full force because we really wanted to get in and change our processes. So we visited counties, went to the CPIC meetings and some of the call-ins, the KT call-ins, and then we put our hat in to be a model site when that offer was up and we got selected. And we spent about 2 years with the vendor at the time to develop our current process, which has also been re-engineered multiple times since. But we started out with the going to the one caseload process and really shifting our thinking here in the county. And then we made a decision, management and on down, that we were going to take this and go with it because we really felt there was so much value in reprocessing and developing our system. And then we moved into the document management system, and that worked out very well. It went hand in hand. By the time we were done with everything and with the vendor, we felt like we made big strides and lots of improvements. And it was very helpful, and we certainly support anyone doing a model site. It will be very beneficial, and it will be a lot of work. So, Marcia, do you want to talk about?
Yeah, some of the experiences that I remember from the CPIC visits were the positive feedbacks from other counties that they had shared with us. They worked with El Paso County before, so they shared some of the positives of moving from one to a universal caseload. I felt that was a very important part of our move. They sold us on the benefits of working with as a team, working with the CPIC process, giving us a standard expectation of how we want to work within ourselves, because that was one of the benefits, is being sure that we all knew how to work as a team. Selling us on the fact that we can do it together was very important, because it was hard when you're expecting a lot of us to change, but being able to be positive and supportive was very nice. As Teresa mentioned, going through the second process of moving to our laserfish, that was very important for us, and it was a long process. So it was helpful to have someone outside give their perspective of us inside, when we're able to vent all of our needs and say what's not working and what is working, and then for them to interpret it back to us was very helpful to give us that feedback of the outside perspective. So it's very nice to have someone on the outside give us good feedback for us to work with. And we benefited a lot from working with CPIC and the Southern Institute to get us through the process.
And I think with saying that, why we did go through the CPIC process and we're a model site, we did have representation from HICPA staff at each of our meetings. Majority of the time they were here in person, which was a challenge because of where we were located, but they made that concession for us, which was extremely helpful. And towards the end, we felt like we were really being heard policy-wise. Initially, we weren't, but that is one component that we felt very strongly about, is to make sure that our policy questions and concerns were answered as quickly as possible, because sometimes that held up our process or impacted a change that we felt like we could make in a positive way. So that was one of the other things that helped during the being a model site, is having that additional support from HICPUP as well. and then just having that outside vendor being able to script everything for us and write everything down and provide that. So we didn't have that additional work other than attending the meetings. Attending the meetings were long and very difficult in the sense of working through every single step of your process, but it was extremely beneficial and necessary in order to make sure we fully vetted every process. Esther, do you want to talk about your experience?
Sure. I think I came in at the very end of that, and I went to one of the final meetings where we were doing value stream mapping. That really showed us what a mess we had. It was a big mess, and all I saw there was many processes that we were doing that were unneeded. Laserfish helped streamline some of that for us, but as we came on, it was not enough, because with our clientele that we work with and the partners that we have, it still was not functional for us. We went from mailing, faxing to email. Even then, things got lost in the works and stuff. So now, I think we started in 2016 talking about going ahead and having an information sharing system. And it took, about a year and a half to get that done. It was, and we went into G Suite, where we have one partner that is doing that with us, and that's the biggest partner we have for our long-term care. That in itself has made such a difference. It has shown us. Now, I would never go back to what we were doing. We have virtually no paper with that. Everybody knows what's going on. The partners knows what's going on. We know what's going on and where we're lacking, and if we're not processing timely. We're looking at adding another partner to the mix. The hardest part, though, is that we still have to have stuff coming from the nursing homes, and at some point in time, hopefully that does get taken care of, but it's such a minimal amount of going back and forth with paper that just has been awesome. Because when you saw what I saw on the walls when we were value mapping, that was just horrendous. It took us probably half a day to do that. And then when we came back down from it, I mean, we didn't do exactly what the turnaround wasn't exactly what we were going to do, but it's better. Because we were able to talk to each other and stuff. We're finding out that our partner, San Juan Basin Health, is our SCP site, and they're finding out that it's been an awesome situation where we're able to communicate more effectively and get things done.
And I think with that being said is that even though we started this re-engineering and process before we became a model site, we made a lot of changes. And sometimes we made those changes and we worked on them for a couple weeks, maybe a couple days, maybe a couple months. And then we went back and re-engineered the changes we did make. So that's always going to happen. But I think, at least for me, I felt like there was some kind of freedom, and it was okay. It was okay to make changes. It was okay to ask policy questions and get clarification. It felt like from previous years' experience and just being with the organization for a long time, that people felt like maybe they weren't allowed to, or they didn't have that comfort level to do it. I think this helped us open it up, saying, well, we can do anything we want and make these changes, obviously within rule, but it really, I think, gave us that additional freedom and knowing that we would be supported in changing something to make our lives better, but our customers' lives better as well.
I have to add, I mean, I think the teamwork within our infrastructure is much better. And we're not afraid to communicate with one another, not afraid to step on toes, because they've already been stepped on, per se, and we're willing to go there to make the change.
Right.
And I would agree with that. That was a big takeaway, is knowing that we all have one job, and none of us are saying, oh, that's your job, that's my job. We all have one job as a team, and we're very team-oriented, so it's very nice to have gone through that process.
Right. I think in itself, just going through that process made the team stronger. Regardless of what other outcomes were, that was a very beneficial outcome as well.